Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. You should check out my website, welshaudio.com. Everything ships for free. The prices that you see is the prices that you'll pay at checkout. Enjoy the video.
All right, guys, welcome back. I've got something a little bit different for you today. I've been working on something behind the scenes like crazy, and I finally, oh my gosh, guys, I've spent a lot of time and money working on this, and I finally found a great solution. I'm going to be able to offer something that I don't think anybody else is offering, period, anywhere, on any platform, website, whatever. Y'all let me know if you know of something like this that's out there. But some of you guys know that I've been selling ferrules for a while. I sell quite a few ferrules. I offer 8 gauge, 4 gauge, 1/0, 2/0, and telling you about something brand new right now. So y'all know that the oversized 1/0 wire is problematic when it comes to ferrules. A lot of our amplifiers nowadays have these nice big oversized 1/0 inputs, which we love. And it works great with the oversized 1/0 wire. But the only decent option that we've had on the market for a while, ferrule wise, are these from Sky High. And Sky High offers a great value on these. They really do. We've bought a bunch of them. We've used a bunch of them. But nobody has really offered the proper insulated ferrule for 1/0 wire. And these are 2/0, standard 2/0 ferrules right here. We're fixing to get into all that. But this is sized. I'm going to move all this out of the way here in a minute, and we're going to show things a little bit differently. We'll get out some wire. We'll get out some of these other ferrule sizes. But the problem is you need a ferrule. The barrel of the ferrule needs to be about this size right here. But you need the plastic, the insulation part, to be this size right here. And nobody offers that. Even Sky High has these, but they don't have an insulated version. And so me and my son in his Tahoe, we've been using those for a number of years now. Sometimes they pull out. You go to pull the wire out, the ferrule wants to stay, and because you don't have anything to grab onto. And also the heat shrink. Sometimes we always put these on the end of our Sky High wire, and then we'll put a piece of heat shrink over that. The heat shrink doesn't have very much to grab onto right there, and then it ends up pulling off of that, and now there's a little gap, and you got to cut that heat shrink off, put a new piece of heat shrink on there. It's not going to stay very long. But I understand why nobody offers insulated oversized 1/0 ferrules. Trust me, I've been down this road, and I get it. It's because nobody makes them. Again, y'all let me know if I'm wrong here on this, but boy, I have exhausted this like crazy on trying to search this thing out. But here's the problem. So you can get 2/0s, which I've been selling and recommending and telling people you got to crimp them. Like that barrel, look at this too. It's crazy when you start dealing with dimensions and circumference and all of that. It's crazy what a 1/2 millimeter will matter, or 1 single millimeter. But you see there's plastic out here, and then there's the metal in there. These 2/0s go inside the plastic, but they don't go inside the metal, and that's like a 1/2 millimeter. So you would think, all right, well, that's probably not too bad to just smash them a little bit. Oh boy, that is actually a huge problem. Trying to get those smashed even just a little bit to go in there correctly is a problem. You wouldn't think so. Part of the problem is when you smash them one way, it goes out wider the other way, and then now it don't go in because of that. So I have successfully done it, and I know some of y'all have too, but the end result is not very nice. This thing is pretty jacked up. This thing ends up looking like a star when it's all over with, and you got all these sharp points all the way around it. And that's not ideal either when you're talking about contact surface. Um, but I'm going to jump ahead here in a second and then come back, but check these out. Check these out. Now watch this. They go right in there. Perfect. They fit nice. They go in there every time. They're the exact size that they need to be. They're nice and round. They crimp good. When you crimp them down, you've got lots of nice contact surface down in there like you should have. We're going to get to this in a minute, but you can pick these up from me on my website or on eBay. But before I got to this, being able to make these and offer these started out as these, but they were properly squeezed, crimped down to the exact size that they need to be, which is no small task. It sounds simple, trust me. I thought it was going to be simple too. None of this works, and I thought that I had some great options for being able to squeeze these barrels. You know, 2 pairs of pliers, because like I said, you've got to, when it tries to squeeze one way, it goes out the other way. But you can do this and go around, and boy, you're going to play with them forever, trying to get them to fit, and you're going to end up with that ugly star in the end. This is actually a 1/0 crimper. You see the 50 there, 50 millimeters. These are kind of hard to find. You don't really find 1/0. I've got the other. I didn't bring them out. The regular ferrule crimpers that look kind of like this, that does the smaller stuff. Even this, it makes it like that U shape, and then sure, it squeezes it enough down here at the bottom, but now the top is too fat. These, I've come up with a couple of great ideas that I thought was just going to be the ticket, and even they didn't turn out right. I got the perfect little size hose clamps. I even bought some like high quality hose clamps that allow you to really bite down on them more than normal, 3/8 to 5/8. That don't work. These things here, this is what I thought was going to do it for me. I'm jumping ahead, so I've even got 2 versions of the crimpers, right? Kind of the smaller ones that you see, and then the bigger ones for doing like lugs, 4 gauge, 1/0 lugs, you know, oversized 1/0, whatever. These things are awesome for lugs. They don't do right with the ferrules, because I'll be honest with you, part of the problem is you need to be able to squeeze all the way around at the same time, not just 2 or 3. You need to be able to squeeze that thing all at the same time, and you need the contact area to be really wide, because if you leave some big gaps, like the gap here between these, all of these. So, and I'll be honest with you, even this having 6 sides, it's not enough. I know that sounds crazy, but that will still produce a product right there that will not go in the hole. It won't do it. That shape, it's got to be more round than that, and this will allow some little ears to poke, and then now it won't go in because of the ears. It's just one of those crazy things. My machinist people out there, they're probably like, oh yeah, gosh, yeah, that's a big deal. No, you can't. There's a lot of things you'll play through in your head that you think should work right. But at the end of the day, when you start fooling with mechanical things, you realize pretty quick it doesn't work the way you think it would in your brain. I'm guilty of that all the time. But I love to tinker. I love to figure things out. I took this on as a challenge. It really bothered me, and I finally found I had to make a significant purchase. I'll probably never get my money back on this machine that I bought. But I made a significant purchase that cost more than everything on this table combined to finally be able to produce these. And so I'm offering these now. I think I'm probably the only person out there in existence that's offering oversized 1/0 insulated wire ferrules that look great, work great, function properly. So here's the thing. I'm offering them at the same price that I currently offer these, but it's less of a quantity. And the reason being, guys, I have to do every one of these things manually. I can't just run these things through a machine and let it do it on its own. And because when I sell ferrules now, I grab a handful. I mean, I count them. I actually inspect every ferrule, but think about it this way. I'm grabbing a handful of ferrules. I'm throwing in a bag. I'm putting a shipping label on them. I'm sending them out the door. When I'm making these, I'm standing in front of a machine one at a time, crimping these things down. Let me get you a nice up close. There's even this has been properly spaced right here to allow a little bit of a bell to be the transition between here and here. There's a lot of thought that went into these. This is an exact size, and the ID and the OD are all an exact size on purpose. So it takes me a long time to do them. So when I sell a pack of ferrules and I make, gosh, on some of these ferrules, guys, I know it's going to sound crazy. I make, on the bigger ones, I do a little better, but on the smaller ferrules, I make like $1.50. I'm talking about like my profit. I'll tell you who comes out good on small items, the post office. The post office makes more than I do on all the small items that I sell. On the bigger ferrules, I might make a few dollars, but I can't stand in front of a machine for 15 minutes to make a few dollars, the same as I did when I wasn't even crimping them. So long story short, they're the same price, but it's less of a quantity. But I'm still offering a quantity in these bags that I think most people are using. Honestly, I think most people, when they buy these things, they need a couple of them. They need 4 of them, you know, something like that. They probably don't need 10 of them. You know what I mean? So I've tried to put thought into that so that you guys aren't really spending any more money if you pick up a set of these, and you probably still got enough to do what you needed to do. But let me cut the camera off. Let's get some of this out of the way. I'll get some of this wire out and like the 1/0 ferrules, and I'll show you some of the sizing here. Some of that's a little bit important too, because I know not everybody's using the same kind of wire and all that. Some of you guys are using welding cable, and I've got a great solution for welding cable also that's already available. But give me a second. Let's get that set up. All right, guys, I want to clarify something that I said just a minute ago. I didn't say it wrong. I just didn't explain it properly. We've never had the sky-high ferrules or the wire pull out of the terminals when we didn't want it to. Well, when they're in use. What I mean is when we will loosen and I've got these out just so we can not have them in our way here, but I just mean when we go to take the wire out, those want to stay in there a lot of times, not all the time. And then the wire just slides out of the ferrule because you don't really have much to grab onto. So I want to clarify, I don't want anybody to think that we're using sky-high ferrules and the wires are randomly falling out of their amplifier. I just mean when we go to take them out, that's happening. Also, something that I have not yet mentioned, these that I'm offering are just as long. In fact, with the bell, they're actually slightly longer. So they go in there better. They still go all the way in, and they stop just right where you want it to stop at. The sky-high ones, watch this. They go way on in there. They go in a little too far because technically they are a little bit shorter. So I like the length of these better. For those of y'all that know, these are 70/20s, by the way. Well, they started out as 70/20s. So that's 70 square millimeters is what that means. And 20 millimeters long. The oversized needs to be about a 60 square millimeters. So I might be jumping ahead here, but here's a couple of, both of these just happen to be red because I have my packs come with black and red, but these are 1/0s and these are both welding wires. But standard 1/0 ferrules are 50/20s, so 50 square millimeters, 20 millimeters long. So if you have welding wire, you don't need the 2/0 or even the oversized 2/0. You just need standard 1/0. And boy, they fit great. The 1/0 and the 2/0 both fits well with the standard 1/0 ferrules. The best fit is really 2/0 welding wire. This is Timco 2/0. And with a standard 1/0 ferrule, not an oversized. Man, it is like a perfect fit. They slide over the insulation just perfectly, and they fill up the barrel completely. Like it's a great fit. So again, 2/0 welding wire with standard 1/0 ferrules is a great fit, but the 1/0 Timco welding wire still fits that really well. There's not like a huge difference, honestly, but there's a little bit of room in there, which you typically have a little bit of room. And then on this end, it's just a little bit loose, but it's not so loose that it looks ugly or anything like that. It's still a nice fit. So if you got welding wire, that's what you need. Another thing too, I talked about the black and red. Another unique thing that I'm doing is I offer red and black in all the sizes. So 8 gauge, 4 gauge, 1/0, 2/0, and now 1/0 oversized, all black and red. It's not easy to find black and red ferrules in some of these sizes. Speaking of, there are people on the internet, I think mostly on eBay, that are selling standard 2/0 ferrules, just like this one, that will say oversized 1/0, or it'll be a 2/0 and it says, that it fits oversized 1/0. And I was in that ballpark too, but the star-shaped ugly crimp has been bugging the crap out of me. That's why I decided to come out with something better. So I've changed my listings. I've changed the descriptions to more properly represent what you need. I'm probably going to delete the video that says, I can't remember what's the title of that video, like what ferrule size do you need, 1/0 or 2/0, something like that. I'm probably going to redo that video because now that I have something better to offer. I don't recommend crimping these where you have that ugly crimp that's got all the pointy stars and the surface area not making good contact. You think of a hot spot or something forming because of that. So I feel kind of bad about all this. It's also what drove me to want to come out with a better product. But some of these listings, they will say that, but it won't really be what you need. It'll be these, and they still don't fit right. And the color, it'll be like yellow, because I think the standard color for a 70 millimeter or 2/0 ferrule is yellow. So it's not easy to get some of these manufacturers, and I am buying these straight from the factory that makes them. There's like a standard wire color for ferrules like across the world, and it's yellow for this size wire, it's green for this size wire, it's blue, and then a couple of them you have a couple of options, but the options might be olive green and light blue. I'm just throwing out some examples. But you can get some of these places to make you like custom colors. But I will tell you this, that's why I wanted to offer red and black in every ferrule size I had. And I think a lot of you guys want that. But if you buy a pack of ferrules, you could still use, both black or both red. I'll tell you this, two blacks with a different color wire, one for the positive, one for the negative. That looks pretty sharp if you didn't want to use a red and a black. All right, there's so much to talk about here, guys. And this is Sky High, standard Sky High 1/0. It's got black, little short piece of black and what they call blue. It's always looked kind of purple to me, but blue and black. I've got recoil oversized 1/0, works great. I've got some install gear oversized 1/0, works great. One thing I would like to know, some of you guys might know, I have never had any Scar 1/0 wire. I know it's smaller. Everybody talks about it being smaller. I kind of wonder if Scar 1/0 just needs a standard size 1/0 ferrule. But I'm going to stop the camera again because I want to strip some of this back and put these in here and show you what they look like. All right, real quick, I want to say something right here too. I was sourcing my ferrules from a different place to start with before I bought, and guys, I've got thousands of these, and it's the place where I'm going to continue to get them. But if you ever bought some 2/0s from me and they were a little bit tight on the, you can get them in here. You got to work with it if you want to use some type of hand sanitizer, some type of lube that will dry. There's a number of things on the market. You can work these on here, but it's actually, boy, it's tight. The newer ones that I've got, and all of the new oversized 1/0 is coming from a different place, and this barrel, not the barrel, the insulation part is a little bit bigger. You might can tell there on the camera. I'm not real sure. Because there's not a universal standard size for these. There is for the barrels, but not for these. But these came with a different barrel, and man, they fit over that Sky High so great. It fits as good as this 2/0 welding wire with a 1/0 ferrule. It's just fits like a glove. So if any of y'all have been questioning that, because maybe you've been down that road and you felt like that these were too tight right here, they were, but no more. Not from the ones that you get from me anyhow. All right, let me get some of this stripped back. All right, guys, here we go. Check this out. What a nice fit. And there's what it looks like in the end. A little bit of room, actually, which is typically what you have. You have a little bit of room with Sky Highs like that as well. That's pretty typical for ferrules. That's what's so cool about these. I keep going back to this, but the 2/0 with the 1/0 ferrule is so great because it fits this great and it fills up that whole barrel. But this look is about the same as a 1/0 welding with a 1/0 ferrule. And guys, we love the Sky High products. Honestly, if you don't want insulation, and some of you don't, man, buy the Sky Highs. They sell these things like 25 of them for, what is it, $10, $15? I can't remember. Go look it up, but it's an incredible deal. I can't even come close to that. So, if you don't want the insulation, shoot, go get these. And I think they offer these in copper as well. Now, these are copper. They're tinned copper, but I think you can get them in, these are tinned copper as well, the ones I offer. But I think you can get them not tinned. But it's a great fit. Now, keep in mind, these are the new oversized 1/0 ferrules. So let's stick them in the amp. They fit great. Well, look at this, too. For those of y'all that care, look how good this slides. Like, it's got just, it's touching. It's just a small amount of friction there. But they go on good over the wire. Let's see, this is negative on the right. If y'all want to take a look at this, See it, they're long enough to go well past the hole. They go all the way to the back of the terminal. And the positive. How good does that look? You got that insulation on there. I like the look of two black ferrules as well. Yeah, that looks pretty sharp to me. But I know some of y'all are probably going to wonder. So heck, let's just go ahead and tighten them down and show you what the crimp looks like as well. We'll do both of them. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. I appreciate y'all that are still watching as well. But man, there's something about wires that are, you know, terminated with ferrules and all. They just look so sharp. We use ferrules on everything that we can now. All of our speaker wires, the little remote wire, every wire that we can. But it's just such a nice finished look. Look at that. So a cool way to dress up your system, and it's functional too. It serves some purposes, but a cool way to a nice clean install for very little money. You think about how much you spend on everything else. I'm gonna tighten the crap out of them, guys. That's pretty tight. I'm gonna. Yeah, that's pretty tight. Those son of a guns are never going anywhere. That is really, they're not even close to being loose. All right, let's take them out now, and let's look at that crimp. So they crimp with the set screws. Your smaller wires, you want to use the little tool and crimp them. With this bigger stuff, they get crimped when you put them in place. It's also interesting to me that the market don't really offer. There are some new like electric ferrule crimpers, but they'll just crimp a square, and they'll do some pretty big stuff, but they just crimp a square. So a big 4-sided, I'm just telling you, with even the 6-sided stuff that I was using was not enough to go in here. So I know those things would not do the trick either. So check that out. That is a very typical, that's exactly what these look like when you pull these out. But look at this, for those of y'all wondering, look at the surface area now, the way it's rounded and all. It's pretty. So now all this rounded part on the bottom is touching in there, as well as the screw touching all of that on the top. Guys, if you're not sure what Ferrules is about, look how it keeps all those wires together. So think about your connection now and everything transferring correctly. If you got a bare wire that you stick in there and the ferrule hits half or 3/4 of the wires, and some of the wires off to the sides are actually still a little bit loose and they're not properly being utilized, this is really tight now. It took up that space like it's supposed to, and all of these wires are very tight. So now you're using every single strand in this wire to transfer current and voltage. So yeah, they're very useful. It's not just to make things pretty. And then this is so repeatable. You could take this thing in and out of here countless times. And so as you're switching your amp around, you're not dealing with wires wanting to come in and out. You know, every time you pull one in and out, the end of that wire gets worse and worse. And next thing you know, you're cutting it off and you're stripping it back. But when you got ferrules, it's just very repeatable. Now see, here's something else that I'm doing right now that these would probably not be doing a very good job for us. But since I can hold on to that insulation, I can pull that thing in and out all day long. Very repeatable. Let's take a look at the ground. It should be exactly the same, but let's take a look. Here we go. looks the same. I didn't have that one crimped as my, or I was able to push it, but check it out, guys. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Very repeatable. Back in, the hole lines up perfect. You can take that thing in and out all day with no issues. You got something really good to grab there. You can get your finger and your thumb on that very well. Get a real good purchase on that. All right, guys, I know I've made a pretty long video about the Ferrules once again, but I thought it was very needed. I think the market very much needs proper, oversized, insulated, 1/0 Ferrules, and now they're available. Links will be in the description for eBay and my website. I've got them on both of there already, so they're ready for purchase now. I've got a big batch of them made up already and ready to ship out. So if you want to pick some up, I would appreciate it. And let me know your feedback. I also would love to know what you think about all of this. All right, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.